Here to react is Fox News contributor and author of Trump versus China, Facing America's Greatest Threat, Newt Gingrich. You know a lot about this, so what do you think really happened?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I just did a podcast with the head of Blue Dot, which is a Canadian firm which tracks viruses, pandemics. They warned as early as December 31st that something was going on in Wuhan. They didn't predict a pandemic at that point, but they said it clearly was moving towards some kind of epidemic. And the truth is, I mean, the absolute fact, let me put it this way, is that the World Health Organization misinformed the world long after people knew this was a pandemic. The Chinese misinformed the world. Now, the World Health Organization could claim that it had been lied to by China, but it won't claim that because the head of the World Health Organization was elected with the support of the Chinese and has been fronting for the Chinese. So the question I would raise, and Xi Jinping, the Secretary General of the Chinese Communist Party, could easily answer this if he wanted to. Let people come in and look at the records. When did you know this was a pandemic? Why didn't you tell anybody? Not going to happen. But they won't let anybody come in, and then they want us to believe that the people who are responsible for several 100,000 deaths and trillions of dollars in economic damage, that we should trust them. I think it's ludicrous.
Yeah. Newt, let's talk a little bit politically about the pivot the president appears to have to make going forward, because in the past we've heard about how he's trying to do the trade deal with China and how he's got a good relationship with the President Xi over there. But now it seems as if the whole of government is turning around to, hey, wait a minute, we're in this pickle because China was not forthcoming to the country and the world. And now the president, you know, he can't keep going, you know, I think I can get a trade deal out of them. While at the same time, the reality of the situation is there have been a lot of people around the world who have been sickened by this and died because the Chinese were not forthcoming.
Yeah, look, I think President Trump finds himself very conflicted because at one level he recognizes this is the second biggest economy in the world. They are the major producer of a lot of medicines that we buy. They produce a lot of other things we need to get through the pandemic. So on the one hand, he doesn't want to so alienate them that nothing can get done. On the other hand, every time you turn around, they're attacking us. They have a worldwide propaganda campaign underway against the United States. They are in a bitter name-calling contest against Secretary of State Pompeo. And I think at some level, they're also actively expanding in the South China Sea. They're actively expanding in Italy, where I'm talking to you from. And by the way, we had a 3.3 magnitude earthquake here last night on top of everything else that's going on. Wow. So Italy is an epicenter for a lot. But I think that the fact is the Chinese dictatorship is increasingly, obviously, self-centered, willing to exploit everybody else, and stunningly dishonest. And that makes it a pretty bad citizen. And I think it's very hard to get around that.
Yeah. German story, as you know, said that the Chinese leader told the World Health Organization to not tell the truth about the virus, and they have proof of it. The Chinese deny that, but go ahead. The WHO did not say it was human-to-human transfer when they were told of it, and that evidently matches up with China denying it. Also, in the first page of the New York Times today, the U.S. is accusing China of trying to hack the vaccine data, and the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are prepared to issue a warning that China's most skilled hackers and spies are working to steal American research in a crash effort to beat us to a vaccine. This is unacceptable. But guess what? Nancy Pelosi doesn't see the urgency in going after China. Listen to her.
Is the president part of these discussions, these negotiations?
I don't have any idea what the president does.
He said that the House was on vacation.
But you know what? Don't waste your time or mine on what he says.
Yeah, don't worry about what he says. They're talking about a rescue package in China. What's your did you ever say that about Bill Clinton? It doesn't matter what Bill Clinton says?
Look, you have here a huge national crisis. You have the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. You have people losing their lives every day. You have a need for America to come together. And you have in Speaker Pelosi a bitter, hard partisan who is so far to the left that she was in Chinatown encouraging people to ignore all of this a couple of weeks ago. It's very hard to understand why the Democratic Party is increasingly the pro-Chinese Communist Party. But if you listen to what Joe Biden says, it's very favorable to the Chinese Communists. If you listen to Pelosi, she's very favorable to the Chinese Communists. It's really mystifying why they're going down this road when it's so obvious to virtually everybody else in the world that, in fact, it's the Chinese Communist dictatorship which has caused this enormous level of pain, literally to the entire planet.
You're right. Thoughts and prayers with everyone there in Italy. Hope no one died in this earthquake. Thank you so much, Newt, for being with us.
Good.
All right.